Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
This is Kayla of Hazen, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather. As always, I am bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have the band Hazen on the show. Hazen hail from Gilbert, Arizona, and formed in 2017. Hazen has released their initial debut EP, Undone, on May 19th of 2017. On April 6, 2018, the band released their second 5-song EP, titled This House. Hazen has released their interpretation and cover of Soundgardens' Black Hole Sun, and it takes balls, folks, to cover a Soundgarden song, because I think that Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, those bands set the standard still to this day on some of the stuff that they have done, and I don't think it'll ever be matched. So congratulations on this song, guys and gals, and would you please introduce yourselves?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Kayla. I'm the vocalist.
This is Dillon. I'm the guitarist.
And I'm Dwight, the drummer.
Like I said, awesome interpretation of this. I like how you guys did this. I like how Kayla's voice, her vocals is on this. I really like this. I think you guys really stepped up and did a phenomenal job with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It means a lot. Appreciate it.
So how's it been working with Tag Publicity, guys, so far?
Well, to be honest with you, this is kind of our first time working with them. Tom is an amazing guy. He's really good at what he does, and I mean, he's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, it's been good so far. We've talked to him a couple other times, and decided for the release of this video to go through with it, and it's been good.
Hazen has released new music video and cover of Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun. This song has meant a lot to you guys. Let's talk about that a little bit. What it meant to you personally, and what made you decide to cover this song and put your twist on it.
Oh man, we were just trying to think of some a good cover song, and when we mentioned Black Hole Sun, it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even think about it twice.
From the beginning, when we all got together, initially when I joined the band and whatnot, talking about influences and when we're playing around and just playing, just jamming out and everything like that. Anything Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, Audio Slave, stuff like that, it continued to come out the whole time. And I mean, not saying that this covers directly to him, but it's definitely to pay respect for somebody who's given us so much influence in what we do, how we do it, and the music that we create. He's definitely a contributing factor, and so are his other projects between Audio Slave and Soundgarden as well. So just figured we'd do something that was really important to us, and this song definitely has meant a lot to each member over the years, and it always seems to come up, and we figured we'd just roll with it.
Yeah, and I didn't really grow up listening to Soundgarden or Audio Slave, but the last couple years I discovered them and started listening to their songs, especially in this song. I just totally get lost into whatever Chris Cornell is singing. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but it's incredible.
It's like you listen to their first stuff, Bad Moto Finger, I think, something like that, possibly. I think that's what it's called, maybe. But you could tell the difference from his voice from that first album that they put out to what he's done after that until up to his passing. His voice got stronger. It got so much better. And I liked Soundgarden that first album when it came out because it was so raw. I mean, his vocals and everything. I mean, it's just raw power, honestly.
Exactly. It's something else.
Anybody else want to include anything? How shocked were you to hear that we had lost Chris Cornell at the time? To me, it was really shocking and suddenly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was kind of like when Chester Bennington passed. I had to take a day or so. I didn't believe it. Like, people kept telling me, I was like, yeah, that's bullshit. No. It took a couple days, and then it just hit way harder.
Realizing that you won't be able to hear that voice again live or hear anything new coming from it, it's kind of detrimental, as a musician. It's really sad, especially when it's somebody that you value as a fellow musician and somebody that you look up to as an idol. It's definitely difficult to process and comprehend, for sure. And in the midst of recording and doing our rendition of this song, all those feelings came right back in the studio. Throughout the music video, everything, it meant something different every minute that we spent doing anything with this song. And so it weighs pretty heavy on us to do it. And I mean, we're very, very humbled at the fact that we're able to even play music that was written by people like the guys in Soundgarden or Audio Slave.
Fell on Black Days is my favorite song by Soundgarden. Yeah, that's
amazing song.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of songs out there, but that for me really struck a nerve with me. So I like how the arrangement is, with how the song even starts out from to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a lot of positive feedback on this song. What's your reaction to all this, guys?
It's amazing. I was a little worried when we put it out that maybe we would get,
some flack.
Yeah, some flack by like big Soundgarden fans or people that were like,
or people that just think we released it of a city stunt or something like that because we just want attention.
Yeah, but it's been nothing but positivity, and it makes me so happy, and I'm just so happy that people are enjoying it and not offended by it.
It's extremely humbling too. It's very, very humbling to know that we can all share the same thing. Between fans and musicians, we can all share the same memories, moments, and feelings. Whether it be a cover or the original, it's just that song in general, those words, it all kind of comes to fruition, and the amount of feedback that we've had, it's very humbling, and we're very honored that people enjoy it, and we're definitely, proud of what we're doing with it, I suppose.
And another thing too, guys, is you have a female fronted vocalist whose voice made this song even more awesome.
She's the one who made it. She's the one who makes everything amazing.
So
she's the talent in this band.
I mean, that takes a lot of guts, especially for Kayla to say, "Hey, I want to do this. I will put my vocals on this." So that's. What was you thinking on this, Kayla, when you first coming into this? Like, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, even like when I said, when we brought it up, we were all like, yeah, but we're also like, oh, like, should we attempt it? Like, is it a good idea? But like once we like got in, started messing with it and got into the studio, like it felt so right. Like, and even just the experience in the studio was crazy because just singing the lyrics. Like by the end of it, I was shaking and like I don't know, it was crazy.
Something came over.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What do you hope everyone takes away from this new single, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of Hazen's music in general, guys?
I guess the main thing is I mean, our whole goal, our whole entire message is, people put this music out there, all these bands are coming out and everything, and a lot of it's either for fame, money, attention. The industry plays a huge role into it, not to, trash talk the industry, but, it's tough. And it's all become a marketing and money campaign left and right. That's all it is. It's all about, who's the next biggest whatever that I can put on the biggest screen to put in front of the most people type of thing. And don't get me wrong, that's all cool and great. But the main message with Hazen and its music, and I'm sure the rest of you guys would affirm this, we've talked about this multiple times, but it goes down to the grassroots of music itself in its purest form. It's about, the message that's coming across. It's about the purity of what you're actually doing. It's 4 or 5 people, however many people on stage, putting their heart, energy, soul. It's about really, sticking it to your soul rather than trying to be something fake or something commercial. That's really the big message behind everything. And I think Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, all those, you talked about Pearl Jam. It's all about that purity of music and what's actually in that music and how people feel and interpret it. And that's essentially, what it's all about to us as musicians. And through this song, throughout all of our songs, every time perform. That's what it's all about for us, is being pure to what music actually is rather than trying to be something commercial.
So the Mills Media Group directed the music video for Black Hole Sun. How was working with them on this, guys?
Well, I am actually the owner of Mills Media Group.
Okay.
I filmed the video myself with some extra help from some friends. It was interesting because it was like probably, 6 months in the making, just starting out with just brainstorming the idea. And I was like, I really see the whole video very like vintage, laid back kind of vibe, lit by candles. And I was picturing the whole video going by in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I just don't think it hits home enough for like the vibe of the song if it's not black and white. But I can't do black and white with candlelight; it just doesn't look right. So I found a way to isolate the color of the candles themselves, so only the candles were in color. And I think that was just the perfect look for that video. It really hit home the emotion we were trying to convey with the song.
And that track was 8 months worth of mixing and mastering to make sure that's perfect. So it wasn't some small 2-week record, get out of the studio, master it and put it out. That was an 8-month process of just the song alone.
Wow.
And then the video came after we felt that song was what we wanted it to be and how it wanted it to sound.
Yeah, especially when you're doing a song like that, you want to any song, you want to put it out there good. You don't want like a week and then put it out.
Absolutely. And Dillon's a master of his craft, so him and the guys at Mills Media Group are really, really pushing through to do some breaking edge stuff, and I'm all about it. We're all about using him for our video stuff, and he seems to capture exactly the message that we're looking to capture in all of our music videos since we started working with him.
Thank you, Dwight.
You're welcome. I'm being honest about it, though. Not to say that anybody else around, here is crappy or anything. It's just
absolutely not.
Right.
Having it in-house, we're also able to control the message through the video rather than have somebody else and tell them what we want.
Yeah, it's more or less what it is too. It's not even about like, oh well, it's free if I do it. It's more like I have a vision. We all have a vision, and it's a lot harder to get someone else to capture that vision the way we see it.
And it's still not free.
No, yeah, this is a very expensive video.
So this song was mixed and produced by Hiram Hernandez at Earth Says Recordings. Let's talk about that a little bit. How was working with him on this?
He's actually a pretty good friend of ours. He's done all of our every song you've heard from us is recorded and mixed by Hiram. He is probably the most underrated producer in America. I'm just going to be bold and say it because he does not get the appreciation he deserves for the amount of work he puts in.
He's also basically the fifth member of it.
He is the fifth member of this band. Like, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for him.
Kayla, working with Hiram on this, did he bring anything out of you that may have possibly been missing on this song that he got out of your vocals?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great motivator.
No, yeah, at first working with Hiram was a little
unorthodox.
Yeah, he's like a crazy person, but I love him. And but now we, we're so in tune with one another, and he's just magical. He has all these brilliant ideas in his head, and tells me to do it, and we work with it, and he's definitely pushed my limits. And
every song, he just seems, every time we record one song after the next, he seems to push us to a new level.
He's like, do this. I'm like, I can't do that. He's like, yes, you can. Until he's like, just do it.
You do it.
Just do it. I'm like, okay. And then, he definitely is.
That's good that you got somebody. That's good that you got somebody pushing that actually gives a fuck about what you're doing, because that's their name when it gets put out there as well, not just along with yours.
Exactly.
100%. He puts just as much effort into producing and mixing our records as we do playing it.
Yeah,
and writing it.
I mean, we value his input 100%. We take him seriously as a producer. It's not one of those, we're not one of those bands that are just going to come in and demand a producer do what we want him to. We want him to be how it should be. Have him have his creative input in what we do, and he just seems to just keep elevating us as musicians. I mean, there's things that he helps us, add and create and change when we're in the writing process of doing songs and recording it that, make us better musicians. As a drummer, he pushes me to do things that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of or done before, and gives me new ideas and opens up new things that I didn't know that I could honestly do. So as a producer, he's absolutely phenomenal, and he may be
He's gifted.
yeah, he may be unique at times, but he's definitely a brilliant mind, and I mean, each member values him amongst our, the highest of anybody in our life, definitely.
So Black Hole Sun, this cover, is this going to be added to an EP or an album, or is it just its own tribute identity only?
It was dropped as a single just to be what it is and nothing more.
Okay.
Yeah, we are planning to get in the studio soon and write some more music, but it's not going to be included on any future releases.
Any song standing out more to you guys right now, if possible, on the current EP? I know it must be hard to choose between these, and it's like picking your favorite child or your favorite collectible. I mean, every time you hear it, you got to like something else differently.
That is a good one. Definitely Between This House and Storm.
My Fire, for sure. Yeah, that's like the total embodiment of the kind of guitar riffs I've been trying to put on a record, but always wondering, like, how are you supposed to sing over something like that? But we figured it out.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say Between This House and My Fire for me, too. Storm does mean quite a bit to me, but, I know it's a little more involved for Kayla, and, I love every song on the new EP, but I would say Between My Fire and This House, those are the ones that really engage with me personally.
Who did the artwork for the current EP, This House? Who did that, guys?
That would also be Mills Media Group.
Oh, man. Wow, buddy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, I drove up into Sedona, which is like a small... Prescott. Yeah, I drove up to Prescott, which is a small northern town outside of Phoenix. Real pretty area, but it's kind of the only area around Arizona because, relatively new state, trying to find that old Victorian-style house. We knew we were going to call the EP This House, but I needed to find a house that I could take a picture of. And whoever owns a house, if you're listening, sorry, or you're welcome. But I took a picture of somebody's house, and I doctored it, changed the color of the house, removed the address from it, and
the person was in the window.
Oh, no. No one was home. I actually don't even think anyone lived there. I think it was...
maybe it was... I'm thinking of something different.
It was so funny when we played a show up in Prescott, and I had someone was wearing a This House shirt, which has the EP cover on it, and someone came up, they're like, that house looks familiar. And I was like, it's not like we took it around here.
Kind of wanted to duck our heads for a minute.
I know.
I just don't want to get in trouble.
So keep moving. There's nothing on my shirt. Keep going.
Exactly.
How much growth musically have you seen this band and yourselves go through up to the release of this current EP, or has it just been more of a personal growth for each of you involved in this so far?
Definitely a little bit of both.
For sure.
It's crazy because when we first started, we were, kind of had our heads around the fact that we were going to record all of our own stuff. And we started recording our own demos at home and sending them out to our friends and realized very quickly that it didn't hold up to what everyone else was doing. Like, all right, we need a producer. And we were in the studio for one night with Hiram, and we all went home and were like, I think we should quit music. Like, holy crap, the level of growth we're going to need to make over the next, coming months to finish a whole record of that quality. Because we recorded Undone first with Hiram before doing anything as a single. And we were like, holy shit. And so we went home, kind of regrouped, and hit the ground running as hard as we could. And ever since then, it's just been insane amounts of growth.
And quickly too.
Yeah, and as fast as possible.
We can't keep up with it.
Yeah, exactly. But especially after the second EP, I think we've grown a lot more since releasing the second EP. So I'm excited to get this third EP out because I don't even know yet what we're capable of.
I mean, not to throw a plug in there. I mean, I know we're working on the new EP and everything like that, but we went from playing with bands such as Xandria and Cobra and the Lotus and all them to after releasing This House, we started playing with Gemini Syndrome, New Year's Day, down to the point now in 6 days we're direct support opening for Godsmack at Arizona Bike Week. It's been a hell of a ride, that's for sure.
I was actually going to bring that up about Godsmack. That's pretty cool. You guys are opening up for them. That even speaks volumes right there as far as you guys have came.
We're still trying to wrap our heads around it.
Well, thank Hiram, because there you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you, Hiram.
Do you guys like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process to maybe help keep your minds fresh and open to not get bored or let the music get stale? I mean, I know these are two different processes, but do you like to do anything differently possibly?
definitely don't take anything too seriously. Like, keep
Absolutely.
your ideas fluid, because they're going to get shot down, or your half-cocked idea is going to become the whole forefront of a song. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, don't take anything too seriously, or you're going to get your feelings hurt. And
be open-minded.
Yeah,
be
exactly.
very open-minded to things changing. Just because you walked in there with an idea, it doesn't mean that's what you're going to walk out with. A lot of, I've been in a lot of bands over the years, and I've recorded numerous albums, EPs, and stuff like that. And a lot of the bands that I've been in, I walk in and it's like, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to come out, and it comes out and it's subpar because you weren't willing to be open to making any changes or open to any new ideas. And that's the one thing that I love about this group is when we go into the studio and everything, we walk in there with an idea and walk out with something we're all happy with, and it's never the same thing we walk in the door with, ever. And then sometimes it even evolves after that. It'll evolve. We'll go into the studio, record it, and then we'll go back in and change it again. Constantly trying to make it the best possible thing that we can make it, and being very open-minded is the key to it. It is on top of not taking anything seriously, because you're going to get butthurt if you do.
What can fans expect at a show from Hazen who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come out?
They're definitely going to get screamed at by Kayla. They're going to get screamed at by Kayla. She makes sure that you're going to hear her. That's for sure. We're actually changing up a lot. Just within these last 2 or 3 months, we've added a whole bunch of production value to our show and just the vibe on stage and everything. With our last tour, we kind of learned a little bit more about what works and what doesn't work. I think we're now, and if you're going to come to a Hazen show and you've never been to one, you're pretty much going to walk in there with some sort of expectation and walk out feeling a completely different way. That's for sure. We're pretty good at doing that with a lot of people.
And if you don't like our show, change your mind.
Or Kayla will scream at you. Or Kayla will scream at you even more.
Pretty much. Well, she will regardless, whether you like it or not, and whether you show up or not. She will still continue screaming at you.
I swear, some of the smaller venues, she doesn't even need a microphone.
Oh, no.
Holy crap.
Not at all.
Oh, jeez.
You would think she's 7 feet tall.
We're living in a digital era, guys, of recording albums to get music out quicker. Now we've got the Mighty B social media to reach out to more people who have not got to hear of Hazen as of yet. Do you guys like this that we're in right now?
Not at all.
No.
Not all.
In the slightest.
The worst thing that's happened to music, in my opinion.
Okay.
Should have been the best. Could have been the best.
Oh no, it's definitely a useful platform for
I'm grateful that we're able to, through the internet and social media, be people all around the world can hear us now.
It allows allows bands without initial contacts and reach to really get their music out there, but it's also the double-edged sword because it really prevents anyone without real money or real contacts to get anywhere.
It's pay to play, basically. At least that's my opinion of it. I think it's pay to play, and unfortunately, it's just like everything else that music's turning into. It's a money play. In order for us to reach, all the people that like our Facebook page, we make a single post. It's going to reach 10%, but if you pay Facebook $300, you'll get 30% of your reach of the people that you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a very useful platform, and it's got the bumps to exactly what music would need to be, and before you could figure out a way around it, and they've stopped those doors. Basically, you kind of have to. It can be difficult, it can be a bit of a following force in whatever it is that you're trying to do, but it's all you have to keep pushing every avenue you can, and that's one of them. If you don't have a whole lot of money, you can't expect to use that as an efficient way of getting your music out, unfortunately.
I will say, though, it does beat stapling flyers to telephone poles.
Oh, yeah. I get to do it from my room rather than
I get to do it in my pajamas.
Spend my entire week out there just stapling stuff to telephone poles.
Begging people at bars to come out and see you.
Just throwing flyers all over the ground, hoping somebody will pick one up.
Dropping a stack off at Zia Records.
What does Hazen bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, if anything, possibly?
That's a good question. I would say ultimately, when you listen to Hazen, when you come watch Hazen, you're dealing with, like I said, pure musicians, in my opinion. People who appreciate music. It's an event all in and of itself to listen to our music, and our biggest thing is to be a part of it with us. We're not playing at you. We want you to be right there with us. I want to see you vibing with us rather than just playing to somebody trying to get your attention or make you like me. That's not what I care about. So you're getting a band who legitimately cares about the crowd. We talk about it constantly. It's with the crowd in mind, 100%. It's not about what we like. It's not about what's expected of us. It's about what's going to work and how we're going to engage with somebody that we couldn't engage with before. To make somebody move based off, make their body physically move based off of something I can do with my hands or feet, or something that Kayla can say or sing.
And we've brought people together, like music, our fans.
There's cliques now.
Yeah,
there's cliques at our shows now.
It's a community, and it's beautiful, and
even on social media too. Everybody kind of has that we have a common ground now with people, and that's what I would like to think Hazen really brings. Is pure enjoyment to what the hell you're there for. You're there for a rock show. Mm-hmm. You're there to listen to something that you want to listen to, like a radio or something like that.
So what made each of you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do?
Okay, so for me, ever since I was little, I loved singing so much. I used to just sing around the house until my mom would yell at me to shut up because she was trying to watch the news. And but I was incredibly shy growing up. Like, I wouldn't sing in front of anybody.
Except your mom.
Except my mom, and she had to deal with it, my sister. But very shy. Like, I chickened out of, signing up for a choir. Like, I couldn't do it. I was so scared. And one day, I was, sitting in my office chair. And I was all like, all right, I got to get a move with it. I'm scared, but I'm going to just go for it. I started, posting YouTube videos of me singing and just trying to, break that shyness, and I realized that I discovered in this moment, and
and it's over.
And Maria's one of my biggest influences to be, at least in metal, and I think she's amazing. And so after listening to that, I was like, that's what I want to be. That's I want to start writing music. I want to be in a band, and so from there on out, that's where I decided that I was going to be musician. And writing and everything was weird in the beginning because I always just sang along to songs. But when I realized I had the ability, I was
run with it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's actually her friend.
What would you actually say, Kayla, to Maria if you got to meet her?
I don't think I could say anything. I would just tell her how much of an inspiration she is, and thank her for being her and influencing others to love themselves and love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I'll go next. As far as, music and getting started for me, I grew up in a musical family. My brothers were drummers with me growing up. My mother was, in multiple, my mother played trumpet, so she was in multiple horn sections in different orchestras and bands and things like that. And my sister played viola. I mean, it was all tied in, and nothing caught my attention more than drums. And I mean, I'm also really big on singing. I've been singing for a long time, and I always do it. I may not be the best at it, but I try. But I kept pushing my parents to buy me a drum kit, and they never would. And then finally I turned about, 13. My mom's like, okay, here, shut up. Here's a $300, kit. Go play it and go piss off the neighbors or something. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had never touched a drum set before. I just sat in there, watched, what videos I could, and saw pictures and set it up the best that I could. And believe it or not, would put country on a stereo in the room and would do my best to try and play along with it because it was all settled drumming. And so I would sit there and try and play along with it. And eventually that evolved into rock music. Specifically, Audio Slave was the first rock band that I ever actually tried learning how to play drums to, and it kept growing from there, and it went into playing drums for jazz band and concert band in elementary school, and I also played trumpet for 15 years all throughout that time too. And then I started listening to bands like Dream Theater, and then it just kept evolving, and I kept doing more and more and more, and found some local contacts of musicians that were playing here locally in Phoenix, and would start going to their shows, and I was just enamored by the whole thing. And then it eventually turned into, high school, getting into marching band and drumline and things like that, and just taking off with it and doing some professional drumline stuff and keep trying to work on my drum set skills. And then it turned into me starting to join bands in high school, and I got addicted to everything about it. And, a lot of people do drugs, but playing live in front of people is my drug. That adrenaline rush is the only drug that I ever need, and I'm addicted to it. And started touring at a pretty early age, and it just kept going, and I'm addicted to the entire thing. There's nothing else in my body, soul, mind that I would want to do more than play music. And to be frank with you, we won't get into a whole lot of details, but music's extremely important in my life, and it's legitimately, I attribute music to saving my life on more than one occasion. And I have it tattooed on my body. I have song lyrics and notes and everything tattooed on my body. It's definitely a big thing for me, but that's essentially how I got into music, and eventually it led me to here, and now I'm here to stay.
My journey is a little interesting because I never actually thought I was gonna try to be a musician. I was like the biggest Linkin Park fan when they first dropped what was that first album? Meteora? No, that was Hybrid Theory, that's right. They dropped their first album, and I was just instantly hooked. I loved the sound of that guitar and just the energy behind it. And I was just driving my parents nuts. I need a guitar. So they finally got me a guitar when I was like 12. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted the guitar. I didn't want to be on stage like Linkin Park and all that. But I ended up running into some other friends in high school that played, I had a friend who played bass because his dad played bass. And I had another friend who played drumline, but his parents had just bought him a drum set. So we're like, hey, let's all get together and see if we can, play some of these songs we all like. And then the talent show came around, for the high school, and we're like, all right, let's play one of these songs that we know at the talent show. And we screwed it up so royally bad. We all like grabbed our balls off, and we all at the stage, and we looked at each other like that was awesome. I knew I was really enjoying that song. Just getting a reaction out of somebody. That was all it was for me. Like the fact that anyone even paid attention to what I was doing, and maybe that's it. I'm just an attention whore, but I had to do it. I had to do more of it, and I've never stopped.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Hazen's new single that's out right now. It's the cover of Soundgardens' Black Hole Sun. Trust me, this is a phenomenal job that they have done on this. And I'm not just saying it just because they're on here or I love Soundgarden. That's not it. They actually did a really great job on this. Also, get out and pick up their EP that's out right now called This House. You want to get up and pick up that. And plus, check them out opening up for Godsmack here in a couple days. So how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, tickets, things like that. How can they do that?
A good, easy way to do that is through our website at hazenofficial.com. All of our tickets and future shows and stuff like that are all on there, as well as links to all of our various social media.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
This is Kayla of Hazen, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, plus our YouTube link, and soon a Twitch link. Also, get out and check out Hazen. You will not be disappointed. Also, check out their music and the new single that they did of Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun. I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.